The Naked DJs podcast. Are they really naked? We know they expose themselves every day just so they can bring you the best of music. They like to stick it out there for everyone to hear. You can hear their podcast on Anchor.fm, YouTube, and any of your favorite podcast platforms. Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by author Chancellor Jackson. Chancellor spent a year in China, Beijing to be exact, from 2018 to 2019. The reason he fell into writing is because of a traumatic experience of being arrested and detained for 14 days in Beijing, which is the name of his book, 14 Days in Beijing. And his book has been number one over 15 times in multiple genres. So we're going to be talking to him about what that experience was like and what he's got up next after his first book. Chancellor, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, family, blessings and balance to you. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. Why don't you start off by kind of giving everybody a little bit of background about yourself?
For sure. So, Chancellor K. Jackson is the name, from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. Those that's familiar with Atlanta or that live in the Atlanta area, from Smyrna specifically. It's north side of Atlanta, but played football a good portion of my life, 9 years, 8th grade, all through college and everything. I attended Stetson University. It's down in DeLand, Florida, small private school, D1 ball. I played, for those that are football fans, I played DB. So I'm corner, free safety, strong safety, nickel corner, you name it. I'm a DB at heart. That's the only position I've played my entire career. So after I graduated in 2018 with a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies, I landed my first job in China, teaching English to children. I was teaching kids as young as 3 years old all the way up to 14. But mainly it was just, my target age group was the elementary school age range for the most part. After I was in China for 6 months, actually. I landed in China on October 10th, 2018, and I was arrested on April 4th, 2019. So I got a good solid 6 months of China. And prior to those last 14 days, China was absolutely amazing. Best experience I ever went through in my life. I highly encourage everybody live abroad at some point in time in their life. Like it's really, really enlightening, all in all. But yeah, 14 days in Beijing. This came back after I was released from China. Well, after I was released from jail in China and then deported from the country, came back to America, continued to teach. Also fell into coaching football as well. I coached varsity and JV at a high school in my county. Wrote 14 Days in Beijing, and just trying to create as many projects as I can with this one story. And also got some more stuff in the works as well. So yeah, man, just a young soul, young spirit out here, just running a couple marathons, trying to get established, all in all.
Well, we're going to talk about the other projects that you got in the works as much as you can. But first, why did you get arrested in China?
So long story short, I got arrested for weed. Basically, I got caught with 1.4 grams, and those that do partake in cannabis, 1.4 grams isn't a lot. Even if you don't partake in cannabis, we're talking units of measurement, 1.4 grams of anything, it's not a lot. You know what I mean? But drugs are very, very, very taken very serious in China. So It really didn't even matter how much I had. Even if I didn't have anything on me, they drug tested me right there on the spot inside of my apartment. So with failing the drug test, I was still going to get arrested regardless. So I was damned either way. But everything happened on April 4th, 2019. This all happened, and we talking early in the morning. It's still morning time when everything pop off for the most part. And once I actually arrived to the jail, I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 people in one cell, 9 wooden beds. And all I had for those 14 days straight was one plastic bowl and one plastic spoon.
So did somebody tell on you that you had it? And usually drug tests, even if you go to like a lab, takes at least a day. They must have rapid drug tests. But did somebody tell on you, or somebody smell it, or how did they know that you had it?
I have no clue. That's still a mystery to this day, even when even audiences or people from my audience that have read the entire story, I still get asked that, like, so what provoked them to come to your apartment? I'm like, man, I have no clue. It wasn't the first time they shown up to my apartment randomly. They do spontaneous checks on foreigners all the time, just to assure you're not over there illegally, essentially. So, and they did that earlier that year, in January. So, and they did it to my coworkers. So I was under the impressions that, you know what I'm saying, that's just what they was on. And when they came in January, they didn't even come inside the apartment. They just stood at the door and just wanted to check all our documents. And they, you know what I'm saying, everything was cordial, everything was peaceful. So that's the impression I was under once they popped up again in April. But clearly, no, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. So I have no clue what provoked them to come knocking on my door. Like, I was at home by myself. You know, and it wasn't like this is my first time smoking out there either. I've been smoking the entire time, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I honestly have no clue. I guess it was just divine timing. You know what I mean? It was.
So you were actually smoking when they showed up?
When I literally I got done. I'm finna get ready to head to an event. So I was pre-game because it's a day off for me. So I'm finna go to this event to meet with some friends and coworkers. We just gonna, you know what I'm saying, just have fun essentially. So I'm like, before I hit the event, I'm a pregame first. So I was in the house pre-gaming, and then after I got done pre-gaming and all, now I'm getting dressed. I'm making sure I'm got everything before I walk at the door. And it's like, here I am finna get ready to walk at the door, and I hear a knock at the door. I'm like, who is that? You know what I mean? And it's the Beijing police. So it was just, like I said, it was just divine timing, honestly. I just feel like it, just because how everything transpired, the way that it did, is still questionable and mysterious to this day. But for everything to come full circle, here we are 2 years later, and you know what I'm saying, just what I've been able to create from it and how much I was able to grow from it as well. So, yeah, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise.
So what was it actually like? I know you said you were locked up 24 hours and didn't sound like you guys had enough beds for the amount of people that was in your cell. But what else happened in your 14 days being arrested, locked down in Beijing?
Well, yeah, for sure. So, like, as you read the story, like, once the cuffs are on me, only communication I receive from the officers is pertaining to just me getting questioned about drugs. Aside from that, I don't receive any information as far as what's this process going to be like, what's going to happen next, how long I'm going to be here. That's non-existent. So I have no clue what's happening to me. And that's as the reader, that's how you read it. I wrote it in first person. So it's like, you just literally going through the entire journey, the way that I went through it, as if it's you. So once I actually got to the jail, I was the only English speaker, only foreigner in my cell. So I'm in this motherfucker with 14 other Chinese people, well, Chinese men. And I don't speak Mandarin fluently or even that well. So communication is non-existent. Of course, they're intrigued to see a person of color, you know what I'm saying, especially this close. So they, you know what I'm saying, they're intrigued to just learn as much as they can about me and just our culture and everything. But you know what I'm saying, I can tell it's genuineness, like, you know what I'm saying, as far as just their actions and just, you know what I'm saying, just the way they're going about just trying to pose questions. But it's like, man, I honestly, it's still hard to decipher what it is you're trying to explain. And I definitely don't even know how to go about explaining it because we can't even speak verbally. So the first 3 chapters of the book, which is the first 3 days, it's a lot of me in my head and just my perspective of everything, because I can only communicate with myself. I can't communicate with nobody. So I'm talking to myself a lot in the first 3 chapters. And then chapter 4, which is day 4, that's when the story shifts. It's a shift within the story. I moved to a cell with other English speakers. So now I can start making sense of how this jail works and how this whole process works and all of that. But still, I have no clue how long I'm going to be here. I can, you know what I'm saying, I got a better understanding of how the process works, but when I leave, I have only time will tell. Only time will tell. I'm only here. I did 14 days in Beijing because I'm here to tell y'all I did 14 days in Beijing. As you read, you have no clue. You just sitting and just hoping, praying. You know what I mean? And fortunately, I was moved to the second cell with other English speakers so I can communicate and form camaraderie and, you know what I'm saying, bonds. And like the quote say, misery loves company. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be miserable by yourself versus be miserable with other people. You know what I'm saying? So being able to, you know what I'm saying, we all pretty much stuck in the same boat. We all miserable, but hey, at least we got each other, you know what I'm saying? So we formed a very, very tight bond, and I still talk to them boys to this day. You also learn that my situation, despite how crazy it may sound right now, it still wasn't even the worst. You know what I'm saying? I still, you know what I'm saying, in comparison to some of the characters, man, there's some folks in there that like things you hear in movies, as far as like you can't go back, you exiled from your country, pretty much basically. If you go back to your country, the government gonna kill you because you behind you got info on them being behind some form of corruption, or they just your country just completely exiled you. You know what I mean? The China ain't even trying to help you get your paperwork or a visa to get you back home. Your embassy ain't even trying to help you or get you back home. So you've been in there for over a year and you don't know, nobody knows you there. And you know what I'm saying? You probably already lost your mind. So it's just like, man, it could be a whole lot worse. My situation could be a whole lot worse. You know what I mean? Even learning about the actual prisons. Because I was in jail, so the actual prisons is even worse. And you meet a character within that story, and he a young boy. He was, man, cuz was like 19 years old, and he came from the prison and had to do additional time in the jail just because he got into some mischief at the prison near his release. So just learning how the prisons actually work. I'm like, man, y'all did what? For how long? And oh man, it's still fucked up here, but it's like, man, what you just sat here and described to me is a whole lot worse. So it's just like, yeah, it's a messed up scenario or situation for me, but man, this shit could also be worse. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to be grateful for. Like, and the story is very enlightening culturally, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Logically, you know what I'm saying? You were enlightened in multiple facets, depending on just where you are along in your personal journey. It's something you'll take away from this story, as well as being thoroughly entertained. You know what I mean? So it's a great read. You know what I mean? It's suspenseful, it's thrilling, it's mysterious, it's dramatic. It's funny at times, just because of my personality. I'm a Sagittarius. We have great sense of humor, so I received several comments about, you know what I'm saying, just things that I say or go about doing is just hilarious. So like it's an overall a well-rounded story. That's why I went number one in so many different genres, just because if you can't just narrow it down to just one genre or two genres. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's a real life experience. So it was everything, literally. You know what I'm saying? As one could imagine being locked up in a foreign country could be. You know what I mean? Like, so.
One more question for you. How did you finally get released? Did you get to see a judge or they sentence you and say, okay, you get out in 14 days? Or how did you get released?
Well, the sentencing part it's in the beginning of early into chapter 2. But again, like I have no clue what's going on. I'm just following orders. They told me to come into this room. They hand me this this contract that I can't read and tell me to sign it and thumbprint it. So I do that, and then I get back in line, and then we go back to my cell. Come to find out, too, you know what I'm saying? Once I moved to the cell with English speakers, oh yeah, that was your sentencing right there. I'm like, what? But I had no clue what was going on. So you know what I'm saying? Literally, I had no clue. You were just a sitting duck until one morning. Then folks call your name. It's like, yeah, come on, grab your stuff. So it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
I don't know law. You know nothing, huh?
Oh no, absolutely not. I'm representing myself.
Wow.
And it ain't even like it's no communication. So I really don't. I'm following orders at this point. I'm just following orders. But I felt that was the best thing for me to do. Me being a man of color with locks, getting arrested for drugs in a communist country. The last thing I need to be doing is being belligerent, rebellious. You know what I mean? That's not gonna help my case. That's not, you know what I'm saying? If anything, it's gonna make things a whole lot worse. So let's be as compliant and cordial as possible. You know what I'm saying? Throughout this process, and me doing that, even though I received no information, I had no clue what was going on or what was going to happen. I ended up doing the shortest amount of time out of every other character, pivotal character within the story. So, you know what I'm saying? It definitely played in my favor towards the end. And accumulation to different things that took place. But yeah, it's a journey. Literally, it's a journey for real.
Well, tell us about any upcoming projects. I know you say you got some more stuff in the work. Tell us about that as much as you can.
Yeah, for sure. So I have 2 romance novels that I plan on releasing soon. And they both piggyback off of 14 Days of Beijing. So it's all gonna be a series, a trilogy, honestly. Well, I'm probably gonna continue to write more books and more, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a series. Yeah, I plan on dropping one before the end of this year and then the second one early into the new year. But they, you know what I'm saying, they based on true stories, just like 14 Days of Beijing, and they piggyback off of 14 Days of Beijing as well. And they going, you know what I'm saying, y'all, it's going. I feel like these romance novels going to do even better than 14 Days. To be honest, I just feel it. I just feel it. I felt it. I felt the same energy when I was writing 14 Days, and 14 Days went crazy. So writing these romance novels, I feel the same thing. But I'm just knowing it's a romance genre. Man, it's gonna go even crazier. I just know it will. And it's not too many male authors, yet alone male authors of color that are writing in this genre. So it's extremely, extremely marketable. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm excited for it. Truly, truly excited, man. Like, I know it's gonna do great.
Well, go ahead and throw out your contact information so people can connect with you and know when those novels are coming out. Any social media, website, anything like that?
All that, yeah. So yeah, man, I got a website, chancellorkjackson.com. Amazon, far as where you get your copies, 14 Days of Beijing. I also have a free version of 14 Days of Beijing, which is available on Amazon, Apple Books, and Kobo. And the free version is the first 3 chapters of the book, essentially. So just to get your feet wet, you know what I'm saying, and get you hooked into the story, so you leave you want more, and leaves you on the cliffhanger to leave you want more. So yeah, I just got 2 different versions. You know what I'm saying? You can get the free version for now, see how you feel, and by the end of, you know what I'm saying, the end of that 3-day journey, I guarantee you're gonna be ready to move on to the full version. So yeah, my website, chancellorkjackson.com, Amazon, 14 Days of Beijing. Social medias, I'm on every social media platform except for TikTok. TikTok is too new school for me. So yeah, you Chancellor K. Jackson, I'll pop right up, man. And honestly, the best bet to just find anything pertaining to me, just Google me. The biggest search engine, the best search engine we have, just Google me. Either my name or the title of my book. Everything you'll need will pop up, or you'll be able to just find access to other links easily just after doing that. So,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, amazing story, Chancellor K. Jackson. Check out the book, 14 Days in Beijing. Please be sure to follow, rate, review, and share this information. That way, you know, you can share it to your friends and they know that you definitely don't want to go to Beijing even with 1.4 grams. They're going to And Android listeners, download the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast app. Thank you so much for joining me today, Chancellor.
Hey, I appreciate you, King, for sure, for sure.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.